thinking about things that have impacted us in our lives. When I was 9 years old, my father and I went fishing. We have a pond down in front of our house on our family farm. My dad loves fishing, and so much so that he actually built this pond so that he could stock it with his own fish. He had bluegill, smallmouth bass, you name it, he had it in there as far as small game fish. And he loved going down there. He loved taking us down there, me and my brothers. Now, I wasn't all that much into fishing, mostly because of the fact that I don't have the patience for it. I just don't really have that much interest. But we would still go down with him because Dad loved going fishing. And one day we were heading down there, and when we had walked across this little spillway that we had for the water, when you would get too much water, it would just spill out of the pond down into the woods. We walked across the spillway. My dad went first, and it was all overgrown with grass. And as I walked over, I hear this hiss, and I'm freaked out by it, And so I look down, and I see something moving, and I move the grass, and there's this huge freaking snapping turtle. Of course, I freak out. I go, "Dad, there's a snapping turtle!" And of course, my dad, he goes, "What? Where?" And he runs back over there, and he sees him. He goes, "You gotta be kidding me." Now, my father hates snapping turtles. I don't know if you know this or not, but in the water, a snapping turtle is like an apex predator. And to my father, that meant that they were fish killers. And he didn't like it when he would show up and there'd be, fish that had been killed and floating around. And of course, he would always say, "A snapping turtle nailed that one." And it would always tick him off. So he hates snapping turtles. And he looks down and he says, "You know what? We're gonna kill this snapping turtle." And of course, I'm 9. I'm like, okay, so we're gonna kill the snapping turtle. Not realizing that I'm about to be part of this whole process. So my dad says, "Hey, go over that wood pile over there. I want you to get a 2x4. We had just had some lumber cut out of our woods, and there was, planks, 2x4s, fern strips, what have you. And he says, while you're over there, get a fern strip too. So I come back over, and he goes, "All right, here's what we gotta do. All right, you gotta take that little fern strip, and you gotta get that turtle to latch onto it." And of course, I'm like, all right, 9 years old, so I kind of put that down there, and he's not latching onto it. And so he goes, you got to agitate it, you got to hit it. So I go to hit the turtle. I give it a little thwack with the thing. I give it a nice little thwack, and it kept just hissing at me and pull its head into its shell. And I said, "Well, I don't know what to do now, Dad." He goes, "Take the stick and stick it in the hole and get him agitated. He will bite onto it." So I stick the stick into the hole, and eventually, boom, latches right onto it. And again, if you didn't know this, from Animal Planet, when a snapping turtle latches onto something, just like crocodiles and alligators, this bad boy's not letting go until it bites through. So at which point in time, my old man grabs the stick and says, "All right," now he pulls the stick out of the shell. And of course, the turtle's neck comes out. And at this point, he says, "All right, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take that 2x4 chunk you got there, and I want you to crack it in the head, all right? You crack it in the head till it dies." And of course, now I'm like, okay. So I take the stick and I go, thwack, thwack. And of course, it's not doing any damage. It's turtle. He's a champ, man. He's not giving up. So he says, "You gotta hit it harder. Stop being such a wussy." So of course, here I am, thwack, hitting it harder, thwack, hitting it harder, thwack, hitting it harder. And the turtle's head starts to swell, right? And it's filling up with fluid. And a couple more, thwack, thwack. And that head pops like a balloon. And just boom, all up on me, right? And I look, and I just see just red and chunk, right? I got a Spuds McKenzie t-shirt on, and there's blood and chunk on me. And my dad, he goes, "All right." He's unbelievably happy. He's like, "Excellent." He goes, "Let's get some fishing in." Of course, I can kind of feel something on my face, and I wipe, and there's red chunk on my face from the exploding dome of this poor little turtle. And now I'm not feeling so good. And I look at my dad and said, "Dad, I don't know if I really feel like fishing right now." He says, "Okay, hey, you head up home. I'll see you when I get back up there." So I start walking up through the field, and I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, man, God, don't ever mess with Dad's fish. Jeez.